What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna be back to work on our BMW E30. And I wanna just say today's video is sponsored by J&J Auto Wrecking. We'll get to that in a minute. So in the previous episode, we did get the carpet in. We got everything built back here and it looks absolutely amazing. Everything looks pretty good. We are probably gonna paint this or throw some more carpet over that, but we're gonna do that later because we are still going to pull this entire interior out once we go to paint it. But the good thing is everything is there and everything is built. So today's episode is gonna be really exciting. Our LS engine should be arriving any second, and it's gonna be really nice to finally set the engine in here and make sure everything lines up so we can go ahead and start painting this car. So we're actually waiting on the engine, and it turns out there is a truck out there right now. Let's go ahead and see if that's our engine.
Transmission,
Sweet. Yep, that's what we needed.
Yeah.
LS.
Said y'all got a forklift?
No. That works. Take a look at this.
Right there.
Oh.
Looks kind of like a jet engine or something.
It's like, oh yeah.
LS2.
So our new engine for a BMW E30 just came in from J&J Auto Wrecking. We're gonna go ahead and unload it. We actually don't have a forklift, so we're actually gonna use our wrecker over there. And we're just gonna back it up right here and just slide the engine onto there and then just slide it off of there. Hey, come back a little bit more.
No, that'd be fine.
Sure? Oh.
Yeah.
I'm doing the fails video.
Hopefully not, man.
That's good.
Probably. Okay, that's good.
I ain't even gonna let no water get in. Alrighty, we got it all. Easy as that. Hey, don't.
Yeah, because they have those Wait, is the transmission made? Yo, you just pull out your. Hold on, don't drop it. Lower it down a bit.
I'm just gonna do anything.
And y'all went and bought backer board or whatever.
How's that for you?
It's amazing.
You like that?
It's smoothly.
You didn't know I was just after line of 2 years driving over.
Someone gonna get this man a proper knife. You got it, you got it. It's the best knife ever.
So we got the engine here inside the shop, and this is an L76. It's almost like an LS3, I'm pretty sure. I don't really know much about these engines, but I have been in contact with Jeremy from Faster Palms, and he said he's gonna help me along the way to get this thing running. And the cool thing is J&J Wrecking actually hooked us up with this engine. They reached out to us a while back, and they're like, if you guys need any LS engines or anything like that, hit us up. And it turns out we had the perfect project to put an LS into. So if you ever need an LS engine or any type of other engines, they have a lot of engines on their website and a bunch of other car parts. So hit up J&J Auto Wrecking if you need anything like that. And here's the transmission that we also got. It's a TR6060 out of a newer Camaro. I'm pretty sure this is out of a Pontiac G8. which it makes around 350 horsepower, which is plenty for what we need for this super light small car. And we might even plan on boosting it later. I was thinking maybe putting an LSA supercharger. That's what Jeremy said would work the best on this thing. Now let's just take a deeper look at this thing, because it does have around 130,000 miles. And Jeremy from Faster Prom said we might need to replace the lifters and probably do a cam in it. So this is like my first time working with the LS engine, and I thought this thing would be way bigger, but it's actually pretty daggum small, which is pretty cool. Now what I want to do is actually get probably some of this stuff off and give this nice engine and transmission a good clean, get all the grease and stuff off of it, because I don't really want to be working with the dirty engine or transmission. So the first thing I'm going to do with this LS engine is go ahead and start removing all the wiring, get everything off of it so we can go ahead and get it outside, because we are going to have to replace like this water pump. Definitely going to replace the water pump and probably some other stuff, because it does have 130,000 miles, and it would be better just to go ahead and put new stuff on there. So let's go ahead and start taking this engine apart. What you think about this LS engine?
What? What's in it?
This one right here.
What are we gonna do with that?
We're putting in this BMW.
You got to be kidding.
Ah, we're doing it.
Oh, come on, man. You ruined it, because you're gonna put the stupid tool out. I'm gonna nut. You're gonna back there.
If I got $2.
Look at that. That's over there.
I ain't got no cash on me, Jerry. What do you think about the roll cage?
That's nice.
It's gonna save me, ain't it?
Yeah. That's nice right there.
Tell everybody on YouTube, Jerry, they were saying it wasn't gonna help me.
No, come on. Don't put me on TV.
Why not? You're gonna be famous.
I heard that. All right.
So we got mostly everything off this engine, everything that we needed to take off. Now what we're gonna do is take this thing outside and spray it down with some engine degreaser and give it a nice wash. And also with the transmission, because it does have a lot of grease. The transmission only does have 70,000 miles, which is gonna work out perfectly for us. So let's go ahead and get this thing outside and give it a nice wash.
Gonna fly past this at 9,000 RPMs.
So we got the engine out here. We went ahead and plugged up all the holes for the exhaust. Now what we're gonna do is go ahead and spray some degreaser on there and then hit it with the pressure washer. So man, did this engine turn out beautiful. We got it all cleaned. We got all the grease off the engine, and we also went ahead and cleaned the transmission. And look, it looks brand new almost. We actually used some of this stuff called aluminum brightener on it. So if you ever need to clean an engine, make sure you use some of that stuff. And just look at that, it just looks brand new. Now let's go ahead and get this engine and transmission back inside. So what we're gonna do now is go ahead and lower this engine down and go ahead and connect this transmission up to this engine. This was an automatic car, so it still has the automatic flywheel, but for now we're just gonna do it for mock-up. So we're not gonna put the clutch or anything in there. So let's go ahead and mate this to this engine.
You got the clutch in there? I'm holding.
So we got the transmission mounted to the engine, and now what we're gonna do is go ahead and remove this shifter right here, because that's not gonna give us enough clearance to stick it in there. We're gonna do a little test fit right now, see what we need to do, because I'm thinking we could probably just build our own motor mounts. I know they do sell kits, but I think building my own would be pretty cool. So let's go ahead and get this shifter off and try to get this engine in the car. So now that we have the engine perfectly ready to go in, what I want to do now is go ahead and lift the car up in the air, probably put some jack stands on, because you can probably see the drive shaft is still on down there. So we're gonna have to go ahead and pick the car up and remove that. So I got the drive shaft off, and now what we're gonna do is go ahead and try to fit this engine in here. Hopefully it fits. It did look a little small underneath when I was looking at the firewall down there, or the transmission tunnel, but I think it's gonna fit just perfectly, because this transmission is actually pretty small. It's not that big. It's surprisingly small, and it can handle actually a lot of power. If you guys remember Jeremy's car from Faster Problems, he actually has the same transmission in his car. He's pushing over like 1,000 wheel horsepower. So it's gonna be pretty cool. So let's go ahead and grab this engine and set it inside. So we got the motor lifted up in the air, but before we can test fit it inside the car, we're actually gonna have to go ahead and remove this oil pan right here, because we'll probably have to get a custom one built or make a custom one that's gonna be accommodated for the subframe over there. So let's go ahead and get this oil pan off. So we got the oil pan off the LS engine. Now it's time to go ahead and slide this thing into the car.
Hold on. Lift it a little higher. Dude. Alright. Okay. We need to go more.
Oh yeah, definitely, way more.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need some golf this bad boy in there. Okay, Nathan. Okay, hold on. Nathan, be very careful because that thing goes fast. Extremely careful.
Alright,
more. Okay, more. Okay, more.
We're not hitting the firewall, right?
No, not yet. Go lower. Ben, go lower the rear end. Lower. Okay, hold on. Pick up the front end more.
I can't.
Okay, lower. Did you take out the drive shaft? You need to pick up the front end just a little bit more and we'll be good. Lower it. More. Hold on, bend it. That's good. Now you're good. Lower.
Alright, yeah, stop.
Okay, yeah, just leave it like that. Oh wow, that thing fits in there amazing. It's right on the sway bar, see?
Lower
There
down
you
a
go.
little.
Now you're good.
Lower down a little bit. Like an inch.
Then you lower it. You don't want to be responsible. Yeah, that's
That's what I didn't want to be responsible for.
dude, that's freaking amazing.
So we finally got this LS engine pushed inside and it fits up pretty good. We are having some good clearances over here. I think we have a little bit of a problem underneath because the shifters are going to be a little bit too long, and we're trying to get this shifter as close as possible to the original area, and right now we're looking at probably right here. So we might actually have to do some more modifications or move the engine forward just a little bit. So we're gonna have to do a lot more R&D and see exactly how we're gonna fit this thing in. Now we're gonna need to start figuring out a way to make these engine brackets. It's gonna be pretty simple. All it is just gonna be a square plate right here, and then probably go down to here, which we might need to get a newer bushing because this one's a little bit weak, and then probably reinforce this subframe right here. So that's gonna be a wrap for today's episode. In the next episode, we definitely will be building the mounts, and I wanna build them myself instead of buying them because this is still a budget build. I wanna keep the price relatively low, and it would be pretty cool to build some engine mounts, and it'd be pretty nice to get that engine sitting in there perfectly. And we will still have to figure out something with the oil pan. I think we might have to just order a custom one because that is a pretty complex design, and you also have to change where the oil pickup goes. It goes in the back on the factory, but we're gonna have to move it to the front and just basically move the whole sump to the front. But that's gonna be basically it. And we do have a little problem on the shifter. The shifter is sitting a little bit too far back, but I think I do have a solution for it. Here's actually the shifter linkage on the TR60 transmission, and what I think I can do is probably cut this down and move this entire shifter linkage forward, probably around 2 inches, so it'd be like right there, because right now it's sitting like over here and it's kind of like an awkward position, so we're gonna have to move it forward right there. And I really don't want to do much cutting on here. If we have to do a little bit of trimming, that is fine because this piece is pretty big and we can just bolt it in just like that, kind of make it OEM. So this build is coming along pretty quick. We finally got the engine in, everything lines up pretty good. And after we get all the engine mounts lined up and everything, we can go ahead and paint this engine bay, because as you can see, there's no area that we're gonna have to really adjust a little bit. I think we're gonna have to do a manual brake booster or a hydraulic brake booster, because there's absolutely no room right here, especially with the headers in the way right there. So if you enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and also check out vTuned.com. We got some new hoodies in stock and some other shirts, some other goodies, and follow us on Instagram at vTuned. Thanks for watching.